Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here and thank you for having me here. I would like to share with you some of the insights we have when we design hospitality projects. I would like to show you the trends and counter trends we encourage, we see, and the contradictions actually in the direction that hospitality industry is moving from our point of view. I need to have, where's the? Usually we always talk about trends, and once a trend is over, then it comes a counter trend. It's a sequence that we have seen in the past. We believe actually that has mostly to do with the fact that we humans, we would like to integrate, but also stand out. And those two trends, they used to be in sequence, as I mentioned, but nowadays they actually run in parallel, they actually fuse, and they are not going only in opposite direction, but in various directions. Sorry about that. We have seen mostly also in the product design that those fusion trends are actually happening, or those not opposite direction trends are happening. And I would like to show you those, and maybe we can incorporate them also in the hospitality industry. This would be, for example, mass customization. What does it actually mean? When you go for some luxury brands, in the car industry it's very well known, now it comes also in the product design, that you have certain parameters that are relatively cheap and also cost effective and relatively easy to change, that you take them and you make them personalized. We have that also in the hospitality industry. For example, when you check in, your name pops up on the TV screen. But it could actually go further. When you look in your hospitality activities on parameters that are relatively easy to change and easy to customize, that you take those and implement them in other factors that are standardized. There are other things like the reinventing of the old and the new, or the old becomes the new. This is when you go in the real estate, you see that old city areas are being redeveloped to hip centers, new centers of the city. It's, for example, very interesting that when you go in a city and you notice that the hashtag art is mentioned, 15 years later, this area in the city will be the new hip spot. So if you want to do real estate investment into the future, you should follow the hashtag art. Same is, it goes in a similar direction with the counterfeit authenticity. That's basically when you create a reality that is more real than the actual reality. Disney did that. We see it also here in the region that happens, where you create an authentic environment that is actually less authentic than reality. We have something else where you can go to. It's called the masstige. It's basically when you take a mass product or some commodities that you make a luxury product out of it. This you do in order to give the feeling of importance. We can see that again when we go into hospitality, that you take again products that are relatively cost efficient, that you enhance them and thus give the feeling of luxury on a more commodity level, and thus raise the entire level of the experience into a luxury. So it's not a hard luxury you provide, but it's basically a soft luxury you're providing. We have the less is more, where you basically create an added value by reducing the Zen feeling basically, or the extreme relaxation. That's basically nowadays when we are in the world where everything needs to go quickly, and you not only want to work at the high speed, you actually also want to relax at the high speed. Now, I would like to show you, contradicting to the introduction, only 2 examples of what we are involved in. It's about the high tech. And so high tech in the future, what does it mean? We believe that we have 2 projects where we are involved, where we go into a futuristic direction. One is basically a private island in the Philippines. It has about 65,000 square meters, and it should be a boutique resort. We are at the moment in the environmental study phase. Now, what is happening here? Here it's basically a detox area of high tech. We are discussing about Wi-Fi free areas again, that you find back to yourself, you find back to it again, what is really important in our lives. And in our lives, really important is the human interaction. Basically, we wouldn't like to have TVs there. It's about de-accelerating your life, that you really can find yourself again. It's also about slow food, it's about local sourcing, it's about the minimal impact into the environment. On the other side, we are working on a project that's actually in Switzerland. Here the client is basically from a group from the Silicon Valley. It should be a vacation destination for the next generation. So basically for the 12-year-old kid that actually really wants to have the popcorn. And so here what they basically want to do is, those companies from Silicon Valley, they would like to create an environment where they can test all their latest technology in the real world and in a confined space of the real world, and then link it to the hardware. So here, after Cambridge Analytica, there might be the topic coming up again, but the intention is basically retrieve all the data you have posted and you have shared in the World Wide Web, and bring that data in and enhance the experience you have on site. Meaning, for example, you log in, obviously over your mobile phone, you open the rooms, you basically get prompted information about the activities you can do according to what you like in the region. You would be guided to tours and trips, what you could do according to what you have previously liked in the web. It's all about, for example, interactivity, augmented reality. It's also about the Internet of Things that should be explored there. And a very, very interesting aspect as well that has less to do with the personal data you are sharing, but with the technology behind. That's basically co-generation, co-heating, co-cooling that you only can experience in a larger development. What does that mean? Is basically when you have a computer, it gives off heat, yeah? Now, you could actually use that heat again to warm or heat up the room, which is obviously important in Switzerland, not so much here. But you can do the same thing also with cooling. So you build actually an entire network and combine the entire network. So you see the entire city as a network. So we believe new technology can go in 2 directions for the future. Either you enjoy the absence of it, or you actually drive it to the very edge. I do agree actually with what has said before, that if you go down the route that you would like to explore new technology, you should definitely do that with a partner who's at the forefront of it. Otherwise, you might get actually 50 popcorns in the course of a day. Now, being an architect, obviously everybody looks in forms and shapes. I didn't want to share any of that in those two projects because it would have more led to a discussion about whether you like a form or whether you like a shape. But nevertheless, I would like to show you what we actually do when we design. And those are two projects which we actually believe has found a form that quite nicely represents the future or could lead into the future. The one on the left-hand side is Al Nadi Tower in Abu Dhabi. The one on the right-hand side, I cannot really tell you where it's going to be. But it will stand. One of the largest engineering company in the world is basically calculating the entire structure and confirmed it will stand, and also the MEP. I can show you a quick movie on the right-hand project that you actually see what it would look like. Please. The plaza that's open to public. This is the entrance to the building for visitors. You reach up into the main building through one of the four super columns. Here we reach the office space. Office space is separated by green cikas. These are also to give natural light in it and for fire protection. You have a roof garden as well. Well, it is all about an idea you have, how you would like to go into the future. And I think one of the key things is really that you come up with a stringent idea how to move forward. And then we as architects, we are happy to find also a form that possibly fits your ideas and your business model. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.